Welcome to our first top 10 Ballon d'Or power rankings of the season. Now, I know what you're thinking. What are you doing making a Ballon d'Or video at the start of October? Allow me to explain, and I'm sure you understand and you will let me land. Because oftentimes, as we know, the Ballon d'Or, it gets done, September time, at the end of the season, at the end of summer. But many people suffer from recency bias. So what we're going to do, what I've been doing on TikTok for the last couple of years, is at the start of every month, I make my top 10, plus, as you can see here on the side, 5 extra names that just about missed out. And then we're going to update it at the start of every month. So November the 1st, we're back again. December 1st, January 1st, February 1st. We're going to update it. We're going to see who goes up 2 places, down 2 places. That way, we're not blinded by recency bias or just thinking about what happened in the last 2 months when it gets to August time, okay? So we have to remember who cooked from September, October, November, and so on and so forth. I think you guys understand. If you do, you know what to do. Make sure you subscribe, of course, to keep track of this monthly list. We are on the road to 50k. Like I said, if you man hit the 50k subs, I will begin doing watch-alongs for Champions League nights and any other big Premier League games. So without further ado, let's get cracking. Like I said, these 5 names here are unfortunate, if you will, right? We've got our top 10 and then 5 names that, if they have a good October for the rest of the month, they might creep in November. They're kind of on the waiting list, if you will. So in 15th place, we have Juan Garcia. As you know, I don't really give goalkeepers that many flowers, and likewise, this is going to be the only goalkeeper here. I, of course, told you guys before he even joined Barcelona, this guy is a superstar, and he has been near flawless for Barcelona so far, right? I know I'm not really like a stats guy, if you will. I don't really post so far score screenshot or Excel screenshots, but I know the Barca fans, they've been loving it. They've been posting every single green rating. Obviously, he's been injured for the last couple of weeks. I don't know exactly when he's back. So 15th is like a yo, big up your thing. We acknowledge you, right? Up into 14th, Munoz of Crystal Palace. Again, you might be thinking, what is a Crystal Palace player doing in here? Well, let me also specify one thing. To be in my personal top 10, top 15 list, you must be playing for a team that is currently in Europe. So as in Champions League, Europa League, Conference League. If you are not playing in those competitions, I'm afraid you're going to have to miss out on my list. But again, feel free to put any honorable mentions, do whatever you want. Feel free, I read all the comments, so go for it. But I had to go with a Palace player because I know it started last season, but they have gone, 19 unbeaten before the Everton game. They're one of the most informed teams on the planet, and I felt as though this season Munoz has been their best player. He's been a marauding right wing back, right winger, right back, whatever you want to call him. Passion, hunger. He's got those intangibles, but he's now randomly adding goals to his game as well. And again, they've cooked so far in Europe and in the Premier League as well. So big respect to Munoz of Crystal Palace. Of course, the likes of, Wardson and Mateta are also in with a shout. But I thought I'd go with Munoz, their best player so far. Into 13th, we head over to North London. We go to Arsenal. We go to Gabriel Magalhaes. Someone who, obviously, it's well documented by now how good Arsenal's defensive record has been in both the league and in the Champions League. He has been a crucial part of that. Obviously, he's scoring them bullet headers where he just seems, how like strikers can be inevitable one-on-one? He is inevitable when it comes to those crosses whipped in from particularly the left side, isn't it? I always can see like Saka or Odegaard whipping it, and it's the way that he sort of flies over heads like that, and you're thinking, bro, how are you even flying like that with your body? Like it's, that TV show, Hole in the Wall, and then they have to manufacture their body in a way that can allow them to fit through. Gabriel's thing is just, forget it, bro. I'ma mash through everyone and find a way, whatever body part that's not my hand is going in the back of the net. I think specifically, obviously it's not about this season, there was the Newcastle goal and whatnot, but that City one at the Etihad last year, where you just see him run in, and he flies in like an arm robber like that to put it in the back of the net. He's crazy. But of course, again, like defenders is very tough to get in my super, high rankings. And of course, look, Gabriel being on the shortlist, I can see him going up at some point in November as well if Arsenal keep up this insane defensive record. In 12th, we have a man who was voted La Liga Player of the Month the first month of this season. His name is Nicolas Pepe. somewhat of a redemption, if you will, right? Because obviously, you know, the last couple years he's kind of been out and about. He's going on this loan, he comes back, he goes on this loan. It's just not really been working out for him too well, right, with the transfers he's been making in the last few years. But this season, he has seemingly locked in. I'm not going to talk about the outside external factors because, you know, family-friendly channel and whatnot. But, hey, if it works for him, it works for him, innit? As long as he's performing on the pitch, you let him do whatever he wants. If that's helping him get player of the month, and even in Champions League as well now, we're seeing this guy's getting player of the match in big European ties. And it's good to see because, like, watching him play is fun. I can't lie to you. Again, I'm not going to act like he's the best player in the world, right? He's not going to get in the top 10, for example. But it's nice that someone who passes the eye test is also delivering for his team, Villarreal now as well, who look to be very strong. Into 11th, the last player to just miss out on our top 10. Kenan Yildiz, someone who we have been singing his praises all season so far. The reason he misses out is because in the last, 4 or 5 games, Juve have become Juventus, unfortunately. And I'm not going to act like it's not his fault at all. He definitely has a part to blame where a couple games, he just does go a little bit missing. But for the most part, I think his first, 70% of the games this season, he was just phenomenal. Again, putting, I was going to say the old lady on his back, but you might be confused by the fact that it's their nickname. But you get what I mean. The old lady's on his back, and he was there dragging goals, assists, everything. So, look, if Juve start picking up wins again in October for the rest of the month, then when we come November the 1st, maybe he's in top 10. Speaking of which, it is time. Let us get into our top 10 because in 10th, we have a man who, his team's also been a bit up and down. It's Julian Alvarez of Atletico de Madrid. Obviously, coming off the back of, to be fair, they just drew against Celta Vigo, so not the best timing again, but they did smack Real Madrid with 5, and he played a big part of that. They bagged 5 goals, in fact, in back-to-back games. Again, he's bagging free kicks, penalties, low drivens. He's doing everything that you'd ask for from a forward, so much so that you have the likes of Barca and whatnot saying, can we maybe do this guy as our striker? And again, you know me, a man of honesty. Many people, I don't know why, they seem to think that I have this complex where I refuse to ever be like wrong about things. Far from it, bro. If I see new evidence that contradicts what I've previously believed, I will change my mind, bro. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not flip-flopping. It's just I've seen enough now where at the start, when he signed for them, I thought, bro, that price tag is kind of crazy, Like, I'm not really sure what kind of money laundering this is. I'm not, Atleti, when they spend big on forwards as well, doesn't always work out. But so far, he has been delivering to a point where I've got him 10th on my shortlist. So fair play to him. Up into 9th, we have someone who did not even make the shortlist last year, but I believe he should have. That is Moises Caicedo. Again, another one. For some reason, hey, listen. You guys that watch me every day, you know what kind of person I am, bro. I am not afraid to give anyone their flowers. I don't have any agendas against anyone except Luis Suarez, the Uruguayan one. There's some alright ones. The Colombian one, big up your thing. Maybe I should have put you in here as a protest to the Uruguayan one. But again, I don't really mind, bro. Caicedo has been fantastic just as he was last season, and he's now adding the goals as well. And I repeat, one of the reasons why many Chelsea fans seem to think that Enzo is cold at football is because his hand is being held by Caicedo. I can't imagine, or rather, I can't stress enough to you guys just how good Caicedo would look without having to, again, look after Enzo and his lethargic behavior in that midfield, bro. It's just, nah. You will see it soon enough. I said it last year. When you guys see Caicedo Lavia, it will change your life and you're going to start saying, oh, do we need Enzo? Can we play Caicedo, Lavia, Palmer? I said it a year ago. I don't know if we're seeing it yet in the Chelsea fan base. Let me know. If you're a Chelsea fan, do you see my vision, or are you still going to say, no, what? You look at all the numbers that Enzo got in the conference. Anyway, it's not an Enzo discussion. Caicedo, let's give you your flowers. Big up to you. You should have made the top 30 last time. You didn't. I'm putting you in my list up there in 9th. I just would love it if people stop doing the whole like Caicedo rise. It's just, it does my head in. I can't lie to you, bro. It's really frustrating. 2 fantastic players. Honestly, Rice could have easily made this list as well. I already had obviously Gabriel in there. And speaking of Arsenal, I do have a second Arsenal player. That's why I didn't want to go overboard, because I've tried to keep it to like 2 or 3 max per team. And the second Arsenal player in 8th place is I think you can imagine Jurrien Timber. I mean, this guy, I honestly, I've run out of things to say, you know, which is rare for me. We put him in so many team of the weeks up until last week where he probably could have got in, but I put Reece James. I think Timber could have got in again, but he's just crazy, bro. And he's someone that, again, they talk about like 1v1 defensively. You know, he locked up, let's say, Vinny and these guys last season, or when Rodrigo tried to move, he locks him, and Mbappe locks him. Every winger that he comes up against doesn't really get much change out of him. But now, going forward as well, he's adding that to his game. People often said, I know Arsenal fans were saying that obviously Ben White, with the Saka overlaps, added more to their, I guess, attacking game. But Jurrien Timber, I don't know if it's Gabriel Magalhaes or something on the training ground, he's added that crossing and he gets into the box a lot more now for a player that supposedly is one of 4 centre-backs that Arsenal deploys. So yeah, Timber, for me, the best right-back in the Premier League. The only reason that he's not the best right-back in the world is because obviously Hakimi exists. He's not on this list, by the way, but again, just hear me out. There will be another PSG player, and you'll see where we're going with this, obviously. Up next, in 7th, we have another defender. Again, someone that if you use recency bias, you're going to say, no, he can't be in there. That don't make sense because he was showing his cheeks and whatnot, pause or whatever, obviously wrong website. But Virgil van Dijk. Let me explain to you why he should be on here, because I know people are going to shout at me maybe for putting him in here. I get it. Caicedo goal. Why is he backing away? Why is he doing that same thing he did against Real Madrid a few years ago? But before that, guys, you have to remember, this is an old man that is carrying this honking Liverpool backline. And when I say honking, I don't mean they're terrible players, to clarify. You know how much I've been gassing up Konate for like 3-4 years now. I think he's class. This year, he is ready to go to Real Madrid, bro. I can't lie. I don't know where his head is at, but he's been really bad. So having Konate alongside you, and then your fullbacks are Kirkes, who I thought would be good, but it's been terrible so far. And the other fullback, Frimpong, has been terrible. And then they go and play Bradley, who's also been bad. And then they play Szoboszlai, who had 1 or 2 alright games at right back. And then that's it. So let's also understand context of why Van Dijk should be in there, because he has been a leader for them. He's got his, you know, late goals and whatnot, doing that thing from the corners. I think he has to be there. I still think he's the best centre-back in the world for now. He might collapse eventually, but as far as October is concerned, he has to be in. Up into 6th place, we have Michael Olise of Bayern München. Obviously, they've won 10 out of 10 games. He's out there just having fun with the ball, bro. I can't really describe it more than that to you. He's dropping bodies, he's dropping numbers, he's doing everything that you ask for from a winger. He's even got Nicolas Jackson scoring goals with his assists. So, fair play to him. The same conversation that I think we've been having for the last 2, 3, maybe even more years is that I'm now waiting for those same performances to happen in like big knockout games, you know. And obviously there's no knockout games in October, November, so I can't judge him for something that hasn't happened this season. But going off like last year and the year before, I think he was hard done by being chucked in 30th. I think it was he got. I think it should have been at least, you know, 15th or 16th, something along the lines. I think I had him. But there is something lacking where people remember who showed up in those massive games. And that's unfortunately why another Bayern player, who I'm sure you know who we're going to talk about, didn't really get the love that I think he deserved. Because when the light shine brightest, when the world is watching, you have to give us something. So hopefully, for Bayern's sake and his own sake, he can show us something. And hey, it's a World Cup year. Maybe he's got something in store for France. Up into our top 5. We have our final defender. No more defenders. That's it. No more defenders are entering my list. It's too many already, bro. It's too many. But in 5th, we can't look past Nuno Mendes. Is he even a defender, guys? Is he even a defender at this point? We were calling him the most complete left back on the planet a few months ago, right? When he was, obviously, he won the treble with PSG. He went and won with Portugal as well. This season, guys, why has he added free kicks to his locker as well? What kind of iOS 18 or iOS 19 update? I don't even know what iOS we're on these days. I don't even update my thing. Apologies. Whatever the newest one is, he's beyond that one again. You're the one that you put in the AirPod, yeah? And then it translates as you're speaking. You say, and and then it'll translate the pinyin to you back into English. That's not racism, by the way. That was a real sentence in pinyin, so don't cancel me for that one. That was a real sentence. If you're Chinese, you know what I was talking about. Point being, this guy is so far ahead of what we're anticipating whatsoever that it makes no sense. I don't understand it, bro. How are you now bagging free kicks for PSG? What is going on here? And what needs to happen for this guy to be the best left back of all time? That's what I want to ask you guys. If Portugal win a World Cup, and if he wins a couple more Champions Leagues, where does the convo go? Because he's not like Jogo Bonito, you know, doing the Brazil skills on the Nike adverts and that. Like, obviously, yeah, he's not going to bang hella step overs. But, guys, I don't know what his weakness is. Maybe in the air. And then that's saying, it's not as though Marcelo and Roberto Carlos were elite in the... Then again, Maldini counts, I suppose. Yeah. Anyway, Nuno Mendes, big up your thing. You have been PSG's best again. Hakimi could have been here as well, but I just... Too many fullbacks and defenders, bro. So, you know, big up Hakimi thing last year. Into 4th place, just missing out on our podium. Someone who I had 4th in my last year rankings as well. His name is Pedri. Another one where ignore the Excel spreadsheets. Don't look at all the numbers of who got the most goals, who got the most assists, the most shots, the most chance created per X, Y, W, Z. None of that, bro. Word to his celebration. Use your eyes, watch the matches, and you understand why Pedri's here. He's so important. And even if you want to start adding those spreadsheets, he is getting goals now as well. So big ups to him. Obviously, people talked about, or I certainly was excited to see him against Newcastle to see how it would fare. I don't know if he would do great or meaty or average. He was fantastic against Newcastle, and he's continued to be fantastic. Again, obviously, Bars have had a bit of a blip just now, so let's be careful with the recency bias and whatnot. But over the 2 months so far that we're judging off, yeah, he has to be 4th. And our top 3, I think you can guess who they are. The order can be interchanged, but you know who the 3 names are. So our bronze medal, if the Ballon d'Or was to end right here, right now, would go to Erling Braut Haaland, the machine. Do we have anything to even say about this guy? Again, it's the same every year, bro. August, September, this guy is genuinely a steam train, bro. I'm talking like Thomas the Tank Engine. Dun, 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 dun. He's just there, flowing, bro. He's in flow state. He's going past Gordon and Henry and all the fat controller and whatnot, all the other ops that are in the Thomas the Tank Engine world, and he's bagging goals. Now, obviously, you might think, if you're a City fan, why is he not any higher? No problem. I will explain. It's just because City aren't as good this year. Like, I personally don't believe City are that great, but Haaland is top 3 because although they were bad last year, Haaland was kind of part of that. I think you guys will agree. He wasn't at his best. I'm not saying he was bad, because Haaland's bad is still better than most people's best ever season, right? I think that's fair to say. But right now, the numbers he's putting up for a team that I don't really rate that high, he's carrying them to such an extent that I do believe they are in the title race. 100% they can definitely win it. And again, I've put them as the highest English team in the Champions League group stage prediction. So that's how good I think he is. Obviously, we know sometimes the numbers may slow down a little bit, but if he's going at this rate, bro, again, I know Norway cannot win, you know, the World Cup. Or I don't even know if Norway even qualified, to be fair to you. Did they even qualify? I'm not sure. Apologies. I'm not going to research that whilst recording. It's too late. If they didn't qualify, unlucky. If they did, you're not going to make out the groups anyway. So ignore the World Cup. In the league, this guy's looking like putting up, you know, the iconic numbers of Dixie Dean when he bagged 60 goals, an English first division record back in 1927-28. For those of us who remember, I remember. It was crazy times, bro. Before World War II, man. I missed football back then, bro. And again, another thing about Dixie Dean and Haaland, the comparisons there, Dixie Dean was known for his aerial prowess. Erling Haaland, despite his height, I think we can agree, wasn't really using it that well the last few years, right? He was a demon 1v1, but in the air, he didn't do as much as you'd like for someone of his stature. He's now doing that. Of course, the bullet head in Champions League, bang, epitomized that. And bro, he's crazy, bro. What can we say? The guy's a machine. He's a robot. He deserves to be 3rd place. Into 2nd place, we have of Bayern München, Harry Kane. Unbeaten this season, 10 out of 10 wins in all comps. And he pretty much bags every single game. Now, some may be penalties, some may be open play, some may be this, some may be that. Doesn't really matter because the guy in first has also scored some penalties as well. But I think there's maybe the only reason why he's not number 1 is because it is the Bundesliga. It's not. I don't say this to like discredit the Bundesliga or anything, because again, I've got him second and I've got Olise in here. I just feel as though like he hasn't necessarily done it against someone super serious yet. I know guys may point to Chelsea, for example, which I hear. Chelsea, when they feel like it can be, you know, a competent team. But the only reason that he's not number one is because, of course, in first place, we have who, in my opinion, is the best player in the world right now. First, Kylian Mbappe. I don't know. New trim, new hair, and new style. What's that Pogba video? He's feeling different. And this year, his finishing is on a different level, bro. Before, you'd be like, okay, you know what? He's so fast that he'll get you, you know, 5 chances in a game and he might bag one of them. And therefore, he's got, you know, a nice 38, 40 goals. Now it's like 1 in 2 he's bagging. When he's one-on-one, you can almost all but guarantee that he will finish it. Whether that be the wrap finesse like Thierry Henry, maybe the inside finesse that he does near post to send keep. What do keepers even do, bro? You're one-on-one with Mbappe, and you don't know if he's going to go, you know, far post, near post, chip it over your head and start doing that in front of your face. You don't know what to do, bro. You just stand there like you're stuck in the mud. And again, I know we talked about Harry Kane's opponents. La Liga, for me, is a bit tougher in terms of like the opponents. But again, I know the hat-trick was against Kairat Almaty and whatnot. But he is, you know, Champions League top scorer. Is he Champions League top scorer, actually? Has that changed? I can't fact check that one right now because I'm mid-recording, but I believe he's Champions League top scorer. If he's not, I'll be surprised to see who is. But anyway, yeah, he's getting, you know, the passing is improving as well. Obviously, the dribbling, everything, the link up with Arda Güler, with Vinny when he's decided to be in a good mood, Rodrigo when he feels like it as well. Mbappe is just, he scores every single type of goal, bro. Penalty, low-driven, finesse, whatever you want from this guy, he can, or I guess apart from heading, he can do it. So, with that being said, guys, that is my top 10. Again, let me know any other honorable mentions that you guys want to include. I know guys like Chan Uzun were really close to making it, but again, Frankfurt tax and that kind of stuff. I think we have collected a good 15 over here. So like I said, subscribe, because next month when I do it again, I'm going to have like everyone's name and then like a +2 or like a down arrow -4. If you've gone down a bit, if you had a bit of a meaty month, we're going to have new additions that might even fly up into like 7th or 8th or something. So this should be a fun one to keep track of every month. And then we will know from the comments as well who's being reactionary and who's actually judging it off each individual month as it goes on. And then we gradually update. So for example, just to clarify, one last before I go, like January, February time, it's going to be much harder for new entrants to come in, right? If you are nowhere in these like nominations up until like February, and then you have a great February knockout month, you aren't gonna fly up and get like 5th or 6th. You got to work your way in. You might get into like a 15th. Even if, let's say like for example, Lamine Yamal, right? It's been out for a while. Lamine Yamal now has to work to get back into like, you know, 11th, 12th, and then he can get into like 9th, 8th, and then we see what happens the rest of the season. But we're not gonna just say, alright, boom, Yamal had an incredible month, bang, 2nd. Alright, I hope I've made that clear. For those that are going to argue and be upset and cry and whatever about certain players, again, I can't put everyone in there. Debate with me, but debate respectfully, and now reply respectfully back to you. I hope that makes sense. I hope you guys have a great week. Again, like, subscribe. I don't really ask for like targets, but every 5 or 6 videos, I tend to get 1,000 likes. That's like my peak, if you will. So, if you guys can get me 1,000 likes, that will be world class. Go look at the video now, check what is on, and if it's not on 1,000, press a little thumbs up. Let's try to get to like 1,000 likes every video. That would be fantastic. It will motivate me to keep on going every single day. Anyway, I've yapped long enough. Have a great rest of your week. I'll see you guys tomorrow with, I don't know what, international break. Let me know whatever I guess you want, right? That's my question for you today. What videos do you want to see? Because I don't know what to do right now, bro. I've got like 3-4 ideas, and then I'm out. International break, I don't like it. Anyway, enough yapping, in a bit. Bosh.